I remember the day I moved to Paris. The bags were packed, the goodbyes were said, and the moment I had been waiting for had finally arrived. But instead of excitement, I felt a strange mix of emotions, nervousness, uncertainty, and a quiet fear of the unknown. Everything I had known, the streets, the familiar faces, the places that held my best memories, were now behind me and ahead of me. A new beginning that felt more intimidating than exciting. The first few days were the hardest. I walked through unfamiliar streets trying to remember the turns and landmarks, but nothing felt quite right. The people around me had their routines, their places to be, their own lives to live, and me, I felt like an outsider, lost in a place that didn't yet feel like home. I missed the little things, the way the sun shined through my old bedroom window, the comfort of knowing exactly where to go when I needed something. It was strange how the things I once took for granted suddenly became the things I longed for the most. But slowly, something started to change. At first, it was subtle. I found a cafe that reminded me of my favorite one back home. I met someone who smiled at me, and for a moment, I didn't feel like a stranger. The roads that once confused me started to make sense, and little by little, I stopped needing a map. Then, without even realizing it, I began to feel comfortable. I started creating new routines, discovering new places, and meeting people who made me laugh. The silence that once felt lonely started to feel peaceful. It wasn't just the city that was changing, it was me. I had spent so much time missing what I had left behind that I almost forgot to embrace what was right in front of me. I had been so focused on what I lost that I didn't see everything I was gaining. Looking back, I realized that moving wasn't just about changing locations, it was about growing. It was about stepping into discomfort, facing uncertainty, and allowing myself to adapt. At first, I resisted the change, believing that happiness could only be found in the past. But I was wrong. Happiness wasn't tied to a single place, it was something I carried within me, something I could create wherever I went. I started to appreciate the new experiences, the way this place had its own rhythm, its own beauty, its own unique way of making me feel alive. And that's when I understood something important. Every place we go becomes a part of us. One day I woke up and realized I wasn't just surviving here, I was living. The streets that once felt unfamiliar were now filled with memories. The people who were once strangers had become friends, and this place, which once felt like a temporary stop, had become a second home. Looking back, I see now that I didn't just move to a new place, I moved forward in life. And even though change felt overwhelming at first, it gave me something I never expected, a chance to become someone new. So if you ever find yourself in a new place, feeling lost or uncertain, just remember, the beginning is always the hardest. But one day, this place will feel like home. So embrace the change because every new chapter leads to something beautiful.